can say something about you and you not be fazed at all, you have arrived to a place like no other.
Jello Beats.
Hello, Internet family. Once again, it's Pastor Jason Miller, and I'm here just to bless you if I can and share a little something that might encourage you. I've been thinking and meditating and praying about a certain issue. I've also been preaching in this vein for a very long time, and that is this. When God calls whomever He calls us not because we're perfect, but because He wants to use us. One of the things I love about that is, and I like to encourage people in this, when God called you, He didn't call you because you were perfect. He called you because He had a desire for you. He had a longing for you. He called you because He loved you and had purpose for you. When it comes to perfection, that is something that God does over time. He's perfecting us over time. Yet when He calls us, He doesn't call us because we're so wonderful. Doesn't call us because we're eloquent in our speech. Doesn't call us because we're beautiful or handsome or strong or built. He doesn't call us because we went to the best schools. He doesn't call us because our families were the best. He calls us simply because it's of His choosing. He delights in using people who have issues, people that are flawed, people that have weaknesses. One of the main reasons He delights in this is because He knows that once He uses us, we won't think we did it ourselves. We won't think that we were strong enough, that we were intelligent enough, that we were wise enough. We will know that the reason He used us and the reason we were productive is because it was the hand of God on our life. We will know that it was His words that made it possible, His strength that made it doable. And we will understand for sure that if it had not been for the Lord on our side, we would not have been able to do it. So when He calls us knowing full well that we will be a people that will give Him back the glory that belongs to Him. So the beauty of His calling is that He uses ordinary Joes, if I could use that example, to do extraordinary things. I think about the life of Moses, of Noah, and a host of others throughout the scriptures, David. And then I also think about the life of Jonah. Jonah is a very interesting character and person in biblical history because Jonah was called to preach to a place called Nineveh. And he refused, had no desire to preach to Nineveh. And it's interesting because one of the reasons, if not the main reason, why he didn't want to preach to Nineveh is because he knew they would turn from their wicked ways. It wasn't that Jonah didn't want to see people saved. He just felt like they deserved the punishment they were going to get. Yet God had a better plan for Nineveh. Called Jonah, told him, go preach to Nineveh that they might turn back to me. So Jonah decides, I'm not going to go to Nineveh. I'm going to jump on a ship to Tarshish. And what's interesting and what I love is that when he jumps on the ship to escape God, run from God, a storm arises while he's on the ship. All of the crewsmen decide, and Jonah testifies or confesses that I am the reason we are in this storm. And if you throw me overboard, then the storm will cease. They throw him overboard. The big fish, according to scriptures, takes him in or swallows him up. And now he's taken from the ship to the fish. What's interesting about this is Jonah couldn't escape God to save his life. God's call on Jonah's life still mattered. God still wanted to use Jonah. Even though Jonah was rebellious, even though Jonah had a bad heart in that moment, even though Jonah went through a bad season in his life, God wouldn't let him die. God wouldn't let him escape, but he kept with Jonah. What I want to share with you and encourage you in is this: when God calls you, it's hard, if not impossible, to escape. At the same time, he doesn't take back his calling because you go through a bad season in your life. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even let you die until you fulfill the purpose he has for your life. If you look at Jonah's story, you will testify and agree with me on that. Be encouraged, internet family, in this. God has a call on your life, and because he does, no matter what season you're in, doesn't matter what storm you go through, doesn't matter how close to death you are, God will not allow anything to rob you of the call that is on your life. Be encouraged, be strengthened in the Lord in this, knowing full well that God has purpose for you. And it doesn't matter your situation nor your circumstance. His purpose shall come to pass in your life. I speak that over you. I speak it into your hearing. I declare it that you might believe and be reminded that God is calling you, wants to use you for his glory. He wants to use you to bless somebody else. That's why he blesses you the way he does. That's why he calls you the way he does. So don't run. Don't be afraid, because whatever he's called you to, he's going to equip you for that moment and that time. Be encouraged. I love you. This is Pastor Jason Miller once again, and I'm coming to you from Greater Life Church. You can come attend worship with us, be blessed by our services on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., on Thursday evenings for Bible study at 7 p.m. We are located at 191 Humboldt Street in Trenton, New Jersey. God bless you. I'm praying for you. I hope you're doing the same for me. Take care.